Hi, welcome to educator.com and another lesson in Adobe Illustrator CS6. Today we're going to talk about data, which is probably the last thing you probably would want to talk about in a drawing program or ever thought you would talk about in a drawing program. But here it is. So let's see what's going on here. Okay, so you have different data variables that you can use. Now, the window for variables is not available in the essentials. If I go to automation, then the variable windows appear. Of course, since I only have one screen right now, I lose a lot of screen real estate. So we'll just keep it at essentials for now, and we'll just pull the window up from here. So windows and variables. Okay, now there are many different types of variables that you can use. And variable simply is information that you're going to change on a document or a template. So and you can define the variables in different ways. And the document could be anything because it's just a file, basically. So whether it's a banner, ad, a business card, stationery, a flyer, whatever, a mailer. You know, there's certain information that you may want to stay the same and others you want to vary, hence the term variables. So here are the different variables that you can use. So you can make the text dynamic, and by that dynamic meaning that it's going to change. I can make a link because this is a linked file. I can make that dynamic. Here's a graph, which I can also make dynamic. And then here's an object, and you probably think I can make the object dynamic. Nope, 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 nope. That's not the case. I can only make it visible. I can make the visibility dynamic, so I can make it visible or invisible. Okay, so those are the different types of data variables. Okay, so let's talk about data set. A data set is what appears inside the variable. And I've opened up a card here, a business card for my company, and I have as a variable the first and last name of employees and the phone numbers. And you can set as many variables as you want. It could be address, websites. Also, I mean, this can be 1,000 cards. This can be 100 cards. You know, that they don't really know what the upper limit is for this. So you can set as many variables as you want in the document. All right, so I have my first and last name selected, so I'm going to make that text dynamic, because that's what I want to change. And phone number, same thing. So here you see variable 1 is the first and last name, and this could be anything. It's just picking up what I typed here, but really this is just setting the type style and the type size. So it's picking up all the attributes from that type. And the same here for phone number. Okay, so variable 1 and variable 2 aren't all that descriptive. So let me change the names of those. And I'm going to change this to name and variable 2 to phone. Okay. Now from here, I can save this as a variable library and then use this as the basis to set up all the other names that I want to change. But you don't want to see me type in for this lesson, so let's move ahead to a library that I've already set up. And this says I've created the document already contains variables. Do I want to overwrite the current variables and data sets? And the answer is yes, because this was just like the template, and I want to use what I've already set up here. Okay, so now up here, my data sets are available. So if I go to the first one, and you see the name changes and the phone number changes, and I could just progress through that, and you see it changes to the next one, the next one, and the next one. And this could go on ad infinitum, like I said. So all of these are there and available. Okay, now also you see in my XML file also had address and web pages. So if I had created a field for those to appear in, that's where it would appear. So these are all data sets. Each individual name, phone number, is a data set, and all tied together. So that's how you will set up data sets. Okay, so that is done. Okay, so now let's look at how to create a graph. Okay, if you went, oh, look at the little pretty cat, then you're a cat person. If you went, ooh, nice dog, then you're a dog person. So whatever your first reaction was tells you what you are. Okay, so now let's go to the column graph tool. There are two ways to do this. I click and drag to pull the type to whatever. No, I don't want to save anything. Or I can double click and set the exact size that I want. Okay, so it comes in blank like this because it's waiting for data input. That's what this window was for. So that's what I will do right now. So first I'll start with some labels: drizzle, rain, downpour, and go up here, cats. Now let's put some numbers in. Now, if you're familiar with Excel or any type of spreadsheet program, that's what you can use here. You don't have to type them in manually. You can import the data. And if you're getting something from a client, that'll be great because it saves you all a whole bunch of trouble. Okay, so dogs. So I'm just picking some random numbers here for demonstration purposes. And we are done. Now, here's where you will select to import the data from a spreadsheet. Here you can transpose the rows and columns. Here you can switch to X and Y axis. Here you can select the cell style. Here you can revert to a previous save version or whatever the last thing you did. And here you can apply. Apply is your preview button. So before you leave this window, you can check out what you've done. Okay, now this comes out as black and gray. And that's the default. So that's what happens. All right, so that is how you create a graph. Ooh. Okay, so now let's make it pretty, because that doesn't look good at all. So I don't know why I'm going over there. So the direct selection tool is your friend, but first what I want to do is I'm going to outline this all in white. Okay. And I'm going to use the direct selection tool, which I already said is your friend, because this is how you're going to change all of these things, so it looks like something worthwhile. So let's change the font first. First, I want to get rid of this white outline and make the text white. Okay, good. Increase the file size, the type size. Make that 14, and let's make this serif Gothic. Okay, great. Now let me select these, and Optima is fine. Let's make that regular, and let's make that 14. Let's get rid of that white outline. Make this text white. Okay, great. And let's do the same thing here. I'll leave that as italic. Make that 14. Get rid of the white outline. Make the text white. And I was going to have to go in here and make the text white anyway, so it doesn't really matter. So I'm not creating any extra work for myself. Okay. It looks a little bit too large. Let me bring that down to 12. Okay, now, again, direct selection tool is your friend, but this time you're going to use the option key. So you're going to click once here, click twice, and now everything that's connected to dogs comes up. So now I'm going to change this color, so I can change anything to a color, to a pattern, Let's just use a gradient for now. Okay, so that's selected. So again, direct selection tool, once, twice, everything connected is selected, and let's change that. Okay, so now that's how you make it pretty. And also, again, as I said, this is still able to be manipulated. You can manipulate the data. So if you go to Object, Graph, Data,